22 יודע. 22 יום בעומר מתחילים שבוע הרביעית. האושפיזן אברהם בן משה בהמי בן יובין. בתורה יש 22 אותיות. וחז"ל אומרים במסכת סנהדרין קב' על מלך אחוב שלא היה צדיק, מפני מה זוכו למלכות 22 שנה? מפני שכיבד את התורה שניתנה ב-22 אותיות. כאן במנורה יש רמז ל-22 אותיות, שכן מספר הגביעים 22, מנוחוס חובחס עומד בייס. לרבי עקיבא היה תלמיד שדורש כל עתים שבתורה. רב נחמיה האמסוני ולמד אצל רבי עקיבא 22 שנה. ירושלמי ברוכos פרק ט' הלכה ה'. יעקב אבינו קשור למספר חוב ב' 22. 22 שנה לא ראה את אביו כשהיה אצל לבן. הוא נשא תאומות, רחל ולאה. לדעת סדר עולם רבו, הם היו בנות חוב ב' שנה כשנשא יעקב אותם. כשחזר יעקב אבינו ושימש את אביו יצחק, שימשו חוב ב' שנה. גם יוסף לא שימש אביו כל אותן חוב ב' שנה, שיעקב לא שימש אביו מידה כנגד מידה. מגילו י"ז עמוד א', יוסף שפירש מאביו 22 שנה, כשם שפירש יעקב אבינו מאביו. היה תלמיד חכם גדול שכל תחילת לימודו היה כשהיה בן 22 שנה. והיה רבו של רבי עקיבא, רבי אליעזר הגדול, בן הורקנוס, אובוז דרב נוסן. היה ספר אחד בכפר קרצום, שעבד שם 22 שנה. מה שמו? אומר הגמרא מגילה דף ט"ז עמוד א', המן בן המדתה. היה בן אדם שהרים עם שתי ידיים בחצי יום 22 איש, כמו שמרימים את לולה ואתרוג. מי היה זה? אהרון הכהן. עצה טובה שלא נסיח דעת ממספר הספירה, לחשוב ולחדש על המספר של אותו היום. ואתם הדבקים בשם אלוקיכם, חיים כולכם היום. 30 יודע. יום שני של שבוע חמישית. יצחק בן אהרון. שתי מלכים נמלכו בני 30 שנה. מהם דוד המלך, בן 30 שנה דוד במלכו, 40 שנה מולך. ויוסף בן 30 שנה בעומדו לפני פרעה. הנה לך, משיח בן יוסף ומשיח בן דוד.
Ich weiß, was das für eine... Ich weiß, was das für eine... Bitte na Ben ist für eine... Für eine was? Für eine Tag? Nein. Zum ist ein 30 Tag. Für eine Sonne ist Slum. Und auf jeden Fall kann ich für eine Slum und für eine Binde na Ben. Aber lass mich dich fragen, Schale. Die Kojen, das ist ein größer Mensch? Oder immer für seine kleine Jünger? Der Schale fragt, der Pri-Chudas. Sagt der Pri-Chudas, als man kann ja geben, der den Naben. Sie hat Kojen, was ist noch nicht bei mir zu. Also weißt du das? Winterjunge. Wir kennen den Tümer von Kojen gut. Wie viel ist die 5 Slupim? A sailor is a shekel. And the third is a kesef, meint a shekel. Wie viel is a shekel in Silber? 384 Euros in Silber. Kommt aus, wie viel ist für eine Schule? 1920 silberne Euros. Farapidien aber.
Who knows 5? I know 5. The Torah HaKadosh is 5. Yaishe Shmas. Midbar in the Torah. What is 5 stones? I know what are 5 stones. David Amelech took 5 stones to kill Goliath. What is Goliath? Read van the Heilige Torah. What does 5 have to do with matzah? I know what 5 has to do with matzah. We only make matzah out of 5 grains. Chitu, oire, kusmin, ibalish, shua, and shifine, and nothing else. What does 5 have to do with tzitzis? Every tzitzis has 5 nuts, like the chumash, so we should remember the Torah. What does 5 have to do with a menorah? Not just a menorah, the menorah from the Beis Hamikdash. I know what 5 has to do with the menorah. You light 5 candles at a time, and then 2 candles.
Who knows 4? I know 4. The river of Gan Eden splits into 4 heads. And the names of those heads are Pishon, Gichon, Chidekel, and Pras. Amai Nafkamina, why do we have to know this? When we see great rivers, we make a special bracha. Oisa Masabarashis. Any great river, even the Mississippi? Yosef says only the rivers that are written in the Torah. Medrash says, when Mashiach will come, Hashem will make for him 7 chuppahs. Not just any chuppahs, special ones. They will be made out of special gems. In every one of these 7 chuppahs, 4 rivers will be flowing out of each one. One is going to supply wine, one is going to supply honey, one is going to supply milk, and one is going to supply perfume. 400 years. Who knows what 400 years is? I know what 400 years is. Avraham Avinu was told that his children would work in a different land for 400 years. What does the Me'urach Samech Paila have to do with 4? Me'urach Samech Paila is in Kiryas Arba, the town of 4. 4 of what? The answer is 4 giants. The answer is 4 pairs of Kudim were there. Adam and Rishon and Chava, Avraham Avinu and Suri Imeinu, Yitzchak Avinu and Suri Imeinu, and the last pair, Yankov Avinu and Leah Imeinu. How much did Avraham Avinu pay for the Me'urach Samech Paila? 400. 400 what? 400 shekel kesef. Not just any kesef, it was over lasechad. Each kesef was 100 times more. 40,000 shekel kesef.
Who knows 11? 11 children Yaakov Avinu took to greet Esau, his brother. Vayokum balaylo hu, vayikach es shtei nosho v'shtei shivchoisov, ve'es ahad osor yelodov, vayavor es ma'abar Yabok, and he passed through the river Yabok. The Gemara says that Yaakov Avinu became a bridge. It took the children from one side of the river to the other side. So the pasuk says vayavor, but it's written Vayaver. The tefillin also have a bridge where the Ritzua passes through, and that's also called Ma'avarto. And the Ma'avarto of the tefillin, it's called Ma'avar Yabok. The journey that Yidden would have taken from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael would have been 11 days. Achat Osor Yom Mechorev Derech Har Seir Ad Kodesh Barnea. Kodesh Barnea is the entrance to Eretz Yisrael. Yosef dreamt 11 brothers bowing to him in form of 11 bundles of wheat, or 11 koichavim, stars, or efshar, constellations. There's an interesting question. Paro dreamt, Yosef dreamt. Paro dreamt 2 dreams in one night, and the interpretation of the repetition of the same type of dream, it's a speedy thing. Something was going to happen very soon. So Yosef tells Paro to prepare the tevuah, the wheat and the food, quickly, because right away after the 7 years are going to be 7 years of hunger. It didn't take any time for that dream to become reality. But Yosef HaTzadik himself, when he dreamed the 2 dreams, it took him 22 years to see his brothers bowing down to him. Why is that so? Why by Paro it was right away, and by Yosef took 22 years? And one of the answers is a going of Moshe Deutsch, that the Gemara says in Masechta Brochos, Daf Nun Hey Amud Beis, in the sugya of the Halomos, Abaye and Robo both had Halomos. Abaye paid, so he was poser, the Halmos were good. Rov did not pay, so he was poser, the Halmos were not too good. And the Gemara says, Kol HaChalomos Holechin Acher Apeh. Everything depends on the one who is poser Halom. That's why a person should never tell a dream to somebody who doesn't trust, because he might be poser the Halom, so it's not such a good interpretation. Of course, the one that interprets the Halom has to be something which is korov to the Halom. So Yosef was poser the Halom that everything is going to happen very quick. And that happened because Yosef said so. Mashenkin, when Yosef told the Halomis to his father and to his brothers, they say, that's nothing. We do not trust this type of Halomis. They were mevatel the first Halom, so the second Halom was not next to a first Halom. That's the difference between Paro's Halomis and Yosef Halomis. The Ketoides has 11 Samemonim. There are 11 days between one Nido to the next period of Nido, and those days are called Yemei Ziva. In that period, you need Nekiyim, clean days. The Isha has a Cheskas Tahara all these 11 days. If a girl is 11 years old and 1 day, she becomes Bath Mitzvah. There is a cycle of 11 years of sunspots. And perhaps this is Pshat in the Gemara Brochos, Haroe Chamo Betekufoso. That Kufa means the cycle of 11 years, according to some. The solar calendar, 1918, the World War I ended on the 11th month, the 11th day, and the 11th hour of the day.
Who knows 8? Everyone knows. Shmona Yemei Milo. B'yom hashmini, Yimor B'sar Orloso, Parshas Tazria. But we also have a behemoth is not kosher for shchita until 8 days. It says in Parshas Mishpotim, Shibas Yomim Yiyeh Im Imo, Ubayom Hashmini Titno Li. Also we find in Parshas Shmini, this Parsha, Vayhi Bayom Hashmini, Koro Moshe L'Aaron Elevonov Leziknei Yisrael. The 8th day, the Chinuch HaMishkan, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, is called the Yom Hashmini, and the entire Parsha is called after this name, Parshas Shemini. In Parshas Metzoiro, a Metzoiro has to have an avoid of 7 days, and the Taharo is B'yom Hashmini. Azovo, she counts Shiva Nekiyim. In the 8th day, she becomes Tehoiro when she goes to the mikvah. Before that, she cannot go to the mikvah because she does not remove her tumah. We have a Yom Tov B'yom Hashmini, the Yom Tov of Shmini Atzeres. We have in Parshas Nosel, the Parosho from a Nozir became Tomeh. He has to bring Korbonos B'yom Hashmini. Mitzvah Tzitzis is to have 8 Chutim. In Parshas Shmini we have the Shmona Shrotzim. In Chutz La'oretz we have Shmini of Pesach. In Yordei we found Shmona Minei Treifos. 8 type of Treifah. In Chanukah we make a menorah with Shmona Yomim. In Tzedakah, Yordei Siman Reish Mem Tes, there are 8 madrigos of Tzedakah. The Gemara in Sanhedrin Taf Samech Tes, Dorot Rishonim, Hoyu Molidim, B'nei Shmona Shonim. In the previous generations, in the times of Avraham Avinu, people had children at the age of 8 years old. Orechaim Siman Tov Chov Ches. The last 8 Pesukim in the Torah that we read it on Simchas Torah, En Mapsikim Bohem, Elo Yochid Kore Osem Es Kudom. One person gets all the 8 psukim and you're not allowed to divide them. The last 8 psukim, because they are written differently. Yoshua wrote them, or Moshe Rabbeinu wrote them, the Dema, crying. In Parshas Tazria, דבר אל בני ישראל לאמור, אישו כי תזריע ויולדו זכור, ותומו 7 ימים, וביום השמיני ימול בשר אולסו. There's a connection between Tumas Leda and the mitzvah's milah. What's the connection? The Gemara says in Masechta Shabbos, Daf Kuf Lamed Hey Omed Aleph, Perek Rabbi Eliezer Nemilah, Omer Rabbi Yosef, Kol she'imo tmeya leido, nimo leshmono. Only a baby that was born from a mother, that the Torah tells us that she's tmeya leido, that baby has to have the bris not before 8 days. But if the mother will not be tmeya leido, then perhaps we can make the bris before 8 days. For example, the Gemara says, Ayotze dofen, as a Syrian, you don't have to wait for the 8th day, according to Rabbi Yosef. The same thing if a Gioreth that gave birth right before she became a Gioreth, since when she was a Goya, there was no Tumas Leda, the baby, even though it becomes a Ger, could have the bris before 8 days. And the Gemara, Tafkuf Lamed Beis Omed Aleph, Vayoyim Hashmini Yimol Besar Orletho, Afilu Beshabos. Even if the bris milah falls on Shabbos, you sometimes may do the bris milah on Shabbos. The Taz asks a kasha. There are many things that you are allowed to do in Shabbos. After piken, the Chachomim made a gezeira, you should not do in Shabbos because you come to be moitzi bershus harabim. For example, on Sukkot, when we make the brocha on the lulav and the esrog, but during Shabbos, even though you are allowed to do birchas lulav and esrog on Shabbos, with the Rabbanon, there's a issue to do that on Shabbos because it's a gezeira de robo. Shema yavrenu daledam bershus harabim. You might carry it and shus harabim. The same thing is with shofar. On Shabbos we do not blow the shofar, even though minatorah there's no problem. The same thing is with Megillah. There's a gezeira de robo. That's a kasha. How come by bris milah we do not do this gezeira de robo? You should not do the bris on Shabbos because you might carry the child in the street or the knife in the street. What's the difference between milah and shofar and lulav? So the Taz brings down that something that says explicitly in the Torah, Ubeyom Hashmini Yimol Besar Orletho, the Gemara says it means on Shabbos. Chazal will never do a gezeirah.
Who knows 43? Sholosh ve'arboi mi יודע. There's something very connected to the Omer that is 43. We say al sfiras ha'omer. What means Omer? Rashi in Parshas Beshalach ve'ha'omer asirith ho'efo hu. Rashi says arboim ve'sholosh beitzim, and that's the shiur from Chalo. Chalo is ha'omer asiris ho'efo, and the korbonos are Omer. That's what's called Sfiras ha'omer, the shiur. Halo is begematria also 43. Ha-chalo, with the extra hey idio, because there's another fifth of an egg. Chomesh beyo. But 43 complete beitzim make a shiur Omer asirith ho'efo. The shiur mon that came down was Omer lagolgoleth. Every person had no more than an Omer. The Hassam Sofer wants to say, why does it say lagolgoleth according to the head? If somebody had a big head, a grown-out person, the Omer was bigger than if somebody was a small person, a tinoik, that his head is smaller. That's why the shiur is etzba, tefach, is according to each person. For Og, you have a big shiur. 43 we find in Yom Kippur. The kapora is nesinath adam on the paroches, on the oron, and on the mizbeach. We make hazoyos. Achad lemalo, veshiva lemato. Altogether 43 hazoyos. How is that? 16 bo'oron, 16 on the paroches, and 11 on the mizbeach hazohov. 16 and 16 is 32, plus 11 is 43. How do you get that cheshbon? First, dama por achas lemalo, v'sheva lemato. That's 8. Then, dama so'ir, achas lemalo, v'sheva lemato. We repeat that in the paroches. That's 16 and 16, 32. Then, iruv dama por and dama so'ir together. And he gives on the dalet kronos of the mizbeach hazohov. That's 4. And 7 hazoyos on the taharo shel mizbeach hazov. 7 times on the middle of the mizbeach hazov in the heichol. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 plus 32 is 43 hazoyos. There are 43 days to the Yetziras Havlat. 3 days for the Klitas Azera, like the Mora says in Masechta Brochos Daf Samech Omed Aleph, and 40 days for the Yetziras Havlad, Masechta Nido Daf Lamed Omed Aleph. Altogether, 43 days. The Rokeach in the Sidur says that the Brocha of Asher Yotzares O'odem B'Chochmo has also 43 words connected these 43 days of the Yetziras Havlat. For that, you have to take out the words afilu sho'o echos, or take out the words difnei chise chevodecho. 2 different girsoos. But if we say both girsoos, it's actually 46 words. The matzah that we eat the night of Pesach should be baked from 1 isoron, which means all 3 matzahs should take an entire isoron. Zecher to the lachmei soido. Each one of the lachmei soido is 1/3 of an isoron, which means 3 matzahs, each one 14 eggs large. 14 times the size of the matzah that we have today. Altogether should be around 43 eggs for the 3 matzahs of the Seder. Now, who says this minik? The Ramo, the Bes Yosef, the Ran. And that's the way it's going to be when Mashiach is going to come. Even though this minik is already forgotten by many, many places, like the Mishneh Vrura brings down. Look it up in Siman Tuf Ein Zayin at the end. But I can tell you that this minik was forgotten already by every single place. Even by the Teimani, they don't make the matzah so big anymore. They make it paper thin. The Rav Shulchan Aruch from the Baal HaTanya is in Siman Tuf Nun Ches, not Tuf Ein Hei. Nohogu b'medinus elu shehasholosh matzos shel mitzvah hen na'asin me'isoron echot kemach ke'ein lachmei toido shehoyu sholosh halos na'asois me'isoron echod שהרי אויו בו 30 חלות של מצה. נעשויס מעשור עשרונים. ימצאו 3 חלות לאיסורון. לפיכך, אנו אויסים גם כן 3 מצות לאיסורון, זכר ללחמי סוידו, שיוצא מבייס האסורים, חייב להביא קורבן תודה. ואנו בפסח יוצאנו מבייס האסורים, משיבוד מצרים, לפיכך אנו עושים זכר ללחמי סוידו. ויזוהר לאפויס הראשונה קודם השנייה, והשנייה קודם לשלישיס. דהיינו, שיכניסם לתנור זה אחר זה, שאם יאופה אוסם בבס אחז, לא הועיל כלום בסימונים שנוסם בהם, which one is the first, which one is the second. לכיוון שגומר עשי אוסם, הוא בבס אחז, ואין לאחז קדימו, ומעלו על חברותו. ומצו שניו צריכה להיות יותר גדולו הראשונו והשלישיס. לפי שממנו צריך 2 זיתים לכל אחד מבני ביתו. כזית אחד לברכת על אכילת מצה, כזית אחד לאפיקומן. האיסור קורס Beshoigek brings a chatos. The Rambam brings down the 43 chatoos kavua that a yochid can bring. The Rambam in his Hilchos Shgugos, Perik Aleph, Halacha Dalet. The Sefer Haflo'o from the Rambam has 43 prokim. 12 in Hilchos Shvuos, 13 in Hilchos Nedorim, 10 in Hilchos Neziros, and 8 in Hilchos Arochin Baharomin. There's one Shevet that in Parshas Pinchas had 43,000 people. Shevet Reuven, 43,000, Ushva Me'ois Ushloshim. There are 43 Parshias Pesuchois in Sefer Bereshis. That means that each paragraph starts at the beginning of the Shura and starts a new inyan. And Parshas Tumo is a continuation. There are 48 Parshas Tumos. Altogether, 91 paragraphs. And the tzura of the paragraph is le'ikuva. You cannot change it. At the age of 43, the French Emperor Napoleon made a war against the Russians. That's the famous War of 1812. And he lost. He was born at 1769 and died at 1821 at the age of 51 years old. From 1769 to 1812 is 43 years. That was the end of his power. The last 6 years he was in exile. In Ezra Zayin says, "Ve'achra devorim ho'eli bemalchus Artaxerxes melech Poras, Ezra ben Sroyo ben Azario ben Chelkiyo ben Shalom ben Tzadok ben Achituf ben Amaryo ben Azario ben Merayos ben Zerachyo ben Uzi ben Buki ben Abishua ben Pinchos ben Elazar ben Aharna Kohen Harosh hu Ezra olo mibovel hu sofer mohir betoras Moshe asher noson Hashem Elokei Yisrael vayitin lo hamelech yad Hashem Elokov Olof kol ba'koshosoi." The Artaxerxes melech Poros ruled for 43 years. Ezra was the 17th dor from Aharon HaKohen. When he came up to Eretz Yisrael, the Teimanim did not want to go to Eretz Yisrael, so he did not give them a brocha. That's why the Temonim are not Ashirim b'derech klal. Meleches Shlomo. Miriam was 43 years older than her husband. Who was her husband? Kolev ben Yefune. Kolev and Yeshua were 40 years old by the Meraglim. Moshe was 80 years old then. Miriam was 3 years older than Moshe, so she was 43. Comes out that Miriam was 43 years older than Kolev. Actually, Kolev was 8 years old when he got married. That was a Pele, 8-year-old Chosun with a 51-year-old Kala. So imagine how much the Shadchan got. David HaMelech lived 70 years. He wasn't supposed to live anything. From where did David HaMelech get these 70 years? One day holds that Omer gave David HaMelech 70 years. He was supposed to live 1,000 years. And he only lived 930. What happened to those 70? He gave it to David HaMelech. The other Shita says no. 37 he got from Yosef, because Yosef lived 37 less than his father. And 43 he got from Yankov Avinu, because he lived 43 years less than Yitzchak Avinu. 43 plus 37 is 70. So David HaMelech actually had 70 years from Odom Harishon and 70 years from Yosef and Yankov. 70 for the days and 70 for the nights. In Parshas Beha'aloischo, Moshe Rabbeinu is found 43 times. There's one Tana, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, who says that the Mishpat Rishoim Begehenim is only 49 days. Behoyo midei chodesh bechodsho, midei Shabbos beshabbato, means mimoches HaShabbos, ad mimoches HaShabbos HaShviz means Yontav of Shviz. This is 49 days. So Mishpat Rishoim Begehenim is not more than 49 days. This is a Mishnah in Masechta Idios, Perek Beis, Mishnah Yud. Interestingly, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri is mentioned 43 times in Mishnayos. Today is the 43rd of the Omer.
Arboim be'echot mi יודע. Who knows 41? There are 41 masos. There are 42 mekoimos shel masos, but 41 masos. Like says in Posuk, al em haderech. M is begematria 41. We usually hear about mem beis masos, like Rashi says, and the Sechta Sofrim, mem beis shuros of a Sefer Torah. But the Shittas Rambam is mem ches shuros, not mem beis. 41 plus 7 masos that we went back. How many Malochos Shabbos are there? The Chachomim say there are Lametes Malochos, are Boim Chosar Achas. Rav Yehuda says no, there are 41 Malochos Shabbos. He is Moisef, HaShovet, VeHamedakdek. That's 39 plus 2 is 41. Shabbos Ein, Hey, Omed Beis. In the Asora Makas, Dam Tzvardei Kinim Orov, Dever Shechim, Borot Arbe, Choshech, Makas, Bechoros, there are 41 Othios, 41 letters. On the 41st day of Spiras Omer was Nifter, Hamekubal, Moreno, Rab Moshe Chaim, Rab Yankov Chai, Lusato. There was a Magefa and he was Nifter together with his entire family, and he was not even 40 years yet. He is buried in Tveria. Rabbi Akiva was Am Ha'oretz for 40 years. And he's buried next to Rabbi Akiva. They say he was a nitzotz of Rabbi Akiva, and he was mashlim the 40 years that Rabbi Akiva was not lomet Torah. Shmuel Hanovi became mefarnes al tzibur when he was 41 years old. He was mefarnes the tzibur for 11 years, and he was niftar when he was 52 years of age. All the malochim that we had were 41 malochim altogether, combining Malchus Beis Shaul, Malchus Beis David, and Malchus Beis Ephraim. Rehoboam became Melech when he was 41 years old. The Gemara in Shabbos Daf Samech Bov Med Beis brings that Abaye says when a person says a lachash, he has to follow instructions how many times to say the lachash. If there is no instructions, then he has to say 41 times. Otherwise the lachash will not work. There's one parsha that has 41 psukim, and that's the last parsha of the Torah, Parshas Bezois HaBerocho. A Yoledes Zochor has to wait 40 days, and on the 41st day she brings a korban. A keves ben shnoso le'olo, uben yono lechatos. The 41st day of the Yoledes, the husband Bizman Hazeh gets an aliyah in the Torah and has kedima to a choson or to a yurtzat. In the periodic table, the 41st element is niobium, essential for the production of steel. Without it, we cannot use MRIs. It has 41 electrons. 41% of the moon is not visible from Earth at any time. Arboi mi יודע, who knows 40? The Mabul was 40 days. Vahi ageshem al ha'oretz, arboim yom, ve'arboim loilo. The Gemara Masechta Idios brings down, Perek Beis Mishnah Yud, Rabbi Akiva says, Hamisho devorim shel shneim oser chodesh. There are 5 things that took 12 months. Dor hamabul shneim oser chodesh. משפט איוב 12 חודש. משפט מצרים 12 חודש. משפט גוג ומוגוג להוסיד לבוי י' בית חודש. The last one, משפט הראשון בגהנם י' בית חודש. The Mabul in 40 days destroyed everybody. It could be that Noach had to be mispalel for his daughter and that took Yud Beis Chodesh. Like a son is mispalel for his father and says Kaddish and do mitzvahs for Yud Beis Chodesh. Yitzchok ben 40 shono bekachto es Rivka. Yitzchok was 40 years old when he got married to Rivka. She was born 3 years before by the Akedah. Yitzchok was then 37. The problem is, Avraham Avinu sends Eliezer to find Rivka for Yitzchok, and he tells Eliezer, Hishomer lecho pen toshiv es ben nishomo. Don't take my son there. As Keilu, Yitzchok was a little child. Yitzchok was a grown-up. Avraham Avinu should have told Yitzchok, don't go there. Why is he telling Eliezer? The Mishnah says in Ksubas Daf Nun Zayin, Noisnin labsulo 12 chodesh mishetab'o haba'al lehinose. After the Kedushim, we give time to lehisparnes atzmo, to get achshitim and tzorchei abayis. If the Yud Beis Chodesh passed and the chasna was not done, then the halacha is, if the husband does not come to her, he still has to support her. Chayv b'mizonoseiho. We learn that from Rivka. The Rav Chizk, the Omer Krova, Yomer achio ve'imo, teishav hanaru itonu yomim osor, yomim zeshono. Like says in Posik, yomim tiyeh geudosor. So if he was mekadesh her without any tenoim, Yitzchok is mechuyev to go to her. Eliezer was a shliach to be mekadesh Yitzchok. Minadin, he has to go to Eretz Horon to get married to her. That's the minik. The chosen goes to the Kadosh place. So Eliezer was given the tenai, koful. You have to tell them, we're only making kedushin with one tenai, that Yitzchok does not go out. She has to come to us. If they become the tenoim, fine. If not, the kedushin is bottle. There's no chasna. Hagoin Rabbi Yehuda Lis. Esav was also 40 when he took his avodah zarah dike wives. Kozman, he was a ravak. He was going to noshim. He's to steal wives. Now they turned 40, wants to show his father that he's a kosher. Charsimenu chazir meyar. Chazir is mafreses parsa. The Medrash says the Ummah, the Parsim, are like chazir. They show that they're kosher, but inside they are Esav, mekul kolim, temeim. We find 40 by Yaakov Avinu. By Imolu lo, arboim yom, kichen yimlu yemei hachanutim. We find by the Mon. Uvenei Yisrael ochlu es hamon arboim shono. Parshas B'Shalach. We find by Parshas Mishpatim. By him Moshe Bahar, arboim yom, be arboim lailo. And by the Mishkan, we had 40 Adonim in each side, in Doram and in Sofon. And Yerushalmi says that every single Odon had a semen. You're not allowed to mix the Adonim and the Kroshim. By Malchus, the Posuk says, Arboim yakenu lo Yosif. So Machloikis means 40 or means 39. Shlomo Melech was a Melech, Yerushalayim, 40 years. By a mikveh we have Arboim So. The Gemara in Gittin says they found 3 mikvahs of Arboim So, or Tefillin Shel Rosh, by Haruge Beitor, and 1 mikvah of Tefillin Shel Yad of Arboim So, because Tefillin Shel Yad is a Shlish Shel Rosh. A third of the size of Tefillin Shel Rosh. Not like we have today, that the Shel Yad is exactly as close to the Shel Rosh. That's what the Rav Shulchan Aruch says, that Tefillin Shel Rosh should be Etzbo'ayim al Etzbo'ayim lichatchilo, and Tefillin Shel Yad Etzba al Etzba. Gittin und Ches Omed Aleph. Ben Arboim Lebino, Chochmas and Nister, and should not be learned before 40. 40 days. Koidem Yetziras Avlat, Bas Kol Yotzeis, Bas Ploni Le Ploni. Mesechtes Soite Dav Beis Omed Aleph, Sanhedrin, Chov Beis Omed Aleph. Yain, before 40 days, it's not considered Yain. So if a Ben Sorer Moreh drank wine which is under 40 days old, he is not a Ben Sorer Moreh. Under 40 years old, a person should not pass Shailes. Ein Talmid Ro'u Lehoro'o ad Arboim Shono. Sote, Chov Beis Amud Aleph. 40 years after Kibbutz Goliath is going to be Tchias HaMeisim according to the Midrash HaNe'elam Parshas Toidos, the Zohar Kodesh. Rabbi Akiva was a bor for 40 years. 40 years he learned and 40 years he taught. Yosef HaTzadik, 40 years he was Mishneh LeParo and 40 years he was Melech Be'atzmo. Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. After Misas Petiras Moshe Rabbeinu, according to Rabbi Yehuda, they ate the mon 40 days. Shimshon was a shofet for 40 years. 40 generations, daughters, from Moshe Rabbeinu, Matan Torah, until Rabashi, Shas. Moshe Kibel Torah Sinai, Yehoshua, Pinchas, Eli, Shmuel, David, Achio, Eliyahu, Elisha, Yehoyoda, Zechariah, Hosea, Amos, Ishaya, Micho, Yoel, Nochum, Habakuk, Zephaniah, Yirmiyah, Baruch, Ezra, Shimon HaTzadik ben Tigonos, Yossi v'Yossi, Yeshua ben Prach ben Natal Hoarbeli, Yehuda ben Tabai v'Shimon ben Shetach, Shmai v'Avtalion, Hillel v'Shamai, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbeinu HaKodosh, Rabbi Yochanan ben Rabbi Shmuel, Rav Huna, Rabo, Rovo, Rab Ashi.